What happened to the most creepiest serial killer of the world? Did they help him escape from certain death? Let's take a look. Good evening everyone and welcome back to your channel Rise Above Mystery. I must warn you, tonight's journey into the depths of the human psyche will be both chilling and deeply unsettling. We are delving into the minds of some of the most notorious killers in history through their interviews where they reveal their dark secrets and motives. Brace yourselves for 10 disturbing interviews with killers and let's rise above mystery. Number 1. Ted Bundy. Our chilling journey begins with Ted Bundy, a name synonymous with horror. In this interview, Bundy calmly discusses his crimes and reveals the sinister manipulations he used to lure his victims to their fates.
Listen, I'm no social scientist and I haven't done a survey. I don't pretend that I know what John Q. Citizen thinks about this. But I've lived in prison for a long time now. And I've met a lot of men who were motivated to commit violence just like me. And without exception, every one of them was deeply involved in pornography, without question, without exception, deeply influenced and consumed by an addiction to pornography. There's no question about it. The FBI's on.
Number 2. Jeffrey Dahmer. Next, we'll slip into the twisted world of Jeffrey Dahmer. In his interview, Dahmer talks about his gruesome acts of cannibalism and necrophilia, sending shivers down the spines of all who listen.
That's why you killed them.
Right. Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me. And as my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons.
Jeffrey Dahmer is recalling his monstrous past. Almost 2 years ago in this little apartment in Milwaukee, police discovered the grisly remnants of one of the most horrible crime sprees in American history. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Number 3. Eileen Wuornos. Eileen Wuornos, a female serial killer, shares her haunting journey. Her interview delves into her traumatic past and the rage that drove her to commit a string of murders.
Nobody ever asked me these questions.
Whether the cops were following you or not, Eileen.
Oh, whether the cops are following me or not, Eileen,
okay,
what?
let's say the cops were following you.
Yeah.
Let's say they were following you and they did everything that you're saying they did.
Uh-huh.
Nonetheless,
Yeah.
you killed 7 men.
Yes, you
and
did.
I'm asking you, what got you to kill the 7 men?
And I'm telling you because the cops let me keep killing them, Nick. Don't you get it?
Not everybody is killing 7 people. So there must have been something in you that was getting you to do that.
Oh, you are lost, Nick.
So
I was a
explain-
hitchhiking hooker.
Right.
Running into trouble. I shoot the guy if I ran into trouble. Physical trouble. The cops knew it when the physical trouble came along.
Number 4. John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, paints a disturbing picture in his interview. He discusses his double life as a beloved community figure and a ruthless murderer.
I have a lot of things that I've forgotten that I can't remember. For instance, I can go back to my childhood and stuff and I still remember that, but yet I can go into the 70s and there are a lot of things I can't remember. The same thing with the victims. I've looked at all of, I don't know if you notice here, we got pictures of every one of the victims here. And believe it or not, for the last 12 years, I've studied these photos of the victims. And there is no we have a shot of all of the victims together here. And when you look over at the photos, I have no recollection of any of them. Never met them. And we've gone over this more than once. They're just names and faces. And when you look at them, the thing of it is, we took it a step further. We went into their backgrounds. I wanted to know where they were at, what schools they attended, who they hung out with.
Number 5. Richard Ramirez. The night stalker Richard Ramirez takes center stage next. His interview unveils a demonic inspiration behind his reign of terror and the chilling "Hail Satan" catchphrase that haunted his victims.
I think most humans have in them the capacity to commit murder. It is not because...
No, we don't, Richard.
They choose not to, not because they are morally superior as they so commonly claim, but because they are imprisoned in a web of responsibilities, commitments, beliefs, and sentiments.
Richard.
And that would render murder an absurd gamble or ridiculous self-destruction.
Number 6. Ed Gein. Ed Gein, the inspiration behind the iconic horror characters, shares his unsettling thoughts. His interviews sheds light on the ghastly crimes that inspire countless nightmares.
Is it true that you have dug up many graves, removed the bodies, and used human flesh and bones to decorate your farmhouse and reupholster furniture?
Oh, I don't recall any of that.
And there's plenty of evidence that shows that you did this. How can you not remember?
There's evidence? Guess it must be true then. My memory's kind of foggy.
And why did you do it?
Well, I guess I needed a hobby. Living out there on the farm. Guess I was kind of lonely. Farm had gone to waste and all. Nobody out there but myself. Like they say. Guess I was missing Ma.
Number 7. Charles Manson. Charles Manson, the mastermind behind the Manson family murders, discusses his twisted beliefs and the cult that carried out his murderous orders.
Well, God, I guess you're my best friend, being as I invented you.
You believe in God, Charles?
Sure, I believe in myself. And why wouldn't I? Which one?
Are you Jesus Christ?
Which Jesus? There's all kinds of Jesuses. There's a black Jesus down in Florida. He's having a good time. There's a Mexican Jesus in Mexico. I mean, there's all kinds of Jewish Jesus. I mean, Jesus, you know. There's all kinds of Jesus coming back everywhere. And nothing can stop it. It's a consciousness that lives in your mind.
Number 8. David Berkowitz. David Berkowitz, known as the Son of Sam, recounts his reign of terror in his interview, revealing the disturbing motivations behind his killings.
Sent to prison for punishment, but isn't it a fact that prison systems also like to rehabilitate people if they can?
I guess you could say that, yeah. Certainly, they want someone to learn their lesson where they don't come back to a place like this and don't throw their life away and hurt some other lives and damage other people, you know. You would hope that someone would come to prison and, you know, if they do get out, they would learn their lesson. But I feel that for what I see more than that is prison is a place of reflection and self-examination where a man is forced to come to terms with himself. You know, you take a guy that's 30 years old, 40 years old, maybe he's got a couple of kids out there, maybe a wife, maybe he's with her, maybe he's not, but here's a guy that's an adult and he's in prison doing time, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years or more. It has to, you know, it's like a point of reality where you got to face yourself and say, man, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? Where am I going? What's my goal? What's my direction? And I think that being in prison now 22 years, I've seen a lot of men come to terms with that, where they realize that they, at some certain point, they realized that they were doing like traveling a dead end, traveling a road to destruction, and that's where like.
Number 9, Dennis Rader. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, confesses to his crimes in an eerie interview. His cold, calculated demeanor will send shivers down your spine.
So, you went to this residence, and what occurred there?
Well, I had did some thinking on what I was going to do to either Mrs. Otero or Josephine, and basically broke into the house, or didn't break into the house, but when they came out of the house, I came in and confronted the family, and then we went from there.
All right. Had you planned this beforehand?
To some degree, yes. After I got in the house, I lost control of it, but it was, you know, in the back of my mind, I had some ideas what I was going to do, but I basically panicked that first day. So
beforehand, did you know who was there in the house?
I thought Mrs. Otero and the two kids, the two younger kids, were in the house. I didn't realize Mr. Otero was going to be there.
All right. How did you get into the house?
I came to the back.
Number 10, Richard Kuklinski. We conclude our journey with Richard Kuklinski, the contract killer. In his interview, Kuklinski described his life of crime and the brutal methods he employed.
Crossbow, I just popped the guy in the forehead with it. Actually, it was just seeing if it would work.
Did it work?
It sure did. Went halfway into his head.
Did you ever let anyone go for whatever reason? Did you ever decide to let someone go?
Yes. But then I thought better of the idea and shot him anyway.
Did you ever murder anyone you liked?
All my friends did. At one point in time, I'm sure I liked them.
But not at the moment of killing them.
I might have even liked them then. You see, because I was put in prison by a man I knew 30 years. And I liked him. Big mistake. I had one friend too many. I'm now serving multi-life sentence because of my one friend.
And there you have it, chilling interviews with 10 of the most disturbing killers in history. These encounters offer a glimpse into the darkest recesses of the human soul, leaving us with questions that will never be answered. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so you won't miss out our next exciting adventures. Thank you for joining us on this harrowing journey through 10 disturbing interviews with killers. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and always rise above mystery.